Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Daryl, for the introduction. And I am so pleased to be sharing this stage with all of you here and not just sharing my lived experience with all of you, but also very excited to be learning from you as well. So when we talk about engaging women in community, there are lots of different things which we'll discuss today. But before we begin, let's acknowledge the land. And land acknowledgements are always my favorite because coming from a forcibly displaced background, I have always struggled to define home. So these are my favorite part of any presentation. Since I'm based in Toronto, so this will be the land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the land on which we are situated for thousands of years. It has been the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place remains the home of many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful for the opportunity to live and work on this land. And I always like to share 7 grandfather teachings with this. The link is attached with the slide. So maybe you can always Google it up or look at it at a later time. But 7 grandfather teachings are based on certain core values such as humility, trust, which and many more, which we should always endure in and remember whenever we work with people or each other. So this is how the next 20 minutes are going to be looking like. We will understand the issues around engaging women in the community. Starting life as a newcomer in Canada could be very daunting. What are some of the good practices, ideas, and solutions, mostly based from my lived experience of forced displacement? And then at the end, we'll have a discussion session where everybody will go into breakout rooms. So let's dive right into understanding the issue. When it comes towards dealing with newcomer women, now this could be a very broad umbrella where women could come from a forcibly displaced background or also experiencing some other kind of risks or violence or a lot of different stuff in their lives. And their journeys could be very diverse as well as unique. So if a newcomer woman is coming from home country to the country of permanent residence, she might have a different experience comparative to a woman who have been from home country to transit country and then to the country of permanent residence. And in this case, by country of permanent residence, I mean, or we are referring to Canada here. So this diversity of journeys bring in a lot of unique challenges as well as a lot of difficulties with integration at each and every step of changing countries or loneliness and leaving your status, your well-being, whatever you have established over the years, your social network and social capital behind. And then another issue we could always talk about is family dynamics, though it is commonly believed that women are multitaskers, but at the same time, a lot of the women coming from different regions of their home countries have or might have very traditional gender roles where a role of a man will be more focused towards providing to the family and being the breadwinner, and women are more focused in upbringing the child, taking care of the house, and really doing these domestic duties. And that is a time where their personal goals and some of the things which they want to achieve, whether it's in terms of achievement or in terms of their career aspirations, they always go missing or become vague or foggy, often leading to isolation and, increased stress or anxiety on who are they and identity crisis as well. And thirdly, this all brings in a lot of cultural differences, and especially when newcomer women come into Canada, there could be different stereotypes, and there are because a lot of women have shared this with me in terms of the way they dress or the way they wear their scarves or having some social norms and rules which were different in their home country and now really different in Canada. So to de-learn that, unlearn that, and then learning it all over again could be a bigger challenge. but at the same time, the talents or the skills which they have in their home countries, they still have that talent now in Canada, but are we making the full use of their talent and their skills? That is a question of not just their own willingness to come forward, but also how the system could be more supportive in this particular area. And this slide also reminded me to think about how these issues or challenges could actually instill a lot of values in the women throughout this difficult journey of displacement and being a newcomer in Canada and integration. So when we talk about their diverse journeys of moving countries, women get to have great communication skills, storytelling skills, as well as emotional intelligence. In terms of family dynamics, these women have excellent leadership skills and collaboration skills. And in terms of cultural differences, where a lot of women from my personal experience and connections as well, women have adopted beautifully, they are resilient, and they are growing step by step. So we really need to keep this in mind that, of course, there are issues, but all these different difficult situations have given them certain values and certain skills, which are definitely going to be transferable into the new country as well. So I was displaced from my home country, moved into a transit country. And basically, transit countries are those countries where refugees live for a temporary time being. And that temporary time being could be for 10 years or even more. And they have to fend for themselves. But my integration in the transit country was only made possible, or you see this slide very colorful with lots of different experiences, only because of the great social network and support system between different women within the refugee communities, within the communities themselves, and within the service providers as well. That's what made my journey really journey of integration in the transit country really special. However, though different women might have unique stories and journey, there is this part where we start life as a newcomer in Canada, and it comes with different positive aspects as well as certain negatives or disrupting effects as well. So I would say I'm really glad that I now feel a sense of safety and freedom in Canada. I can finally walk in the streets peacefully. I definitely feel that sense of patriotism and I love it. But at the same time, it comes in with a lot of challenges. Canada is a vast pool of opportunities, but am I ready and well equipped to really take on those opportunities? And at the same time, does the system provide me the right toolkit to be a useful member of this community as well? And through your experiences as well, you might have heard different challenges of starting a life as a newcomer in Canada, which is loss of social capitals. You're always being asked that, hey, where is your Canadian experience instead of just the experience? So there is competition, a lot of competition, and if you don't keep up, you will drown into the sea of the challenges. So these type of challenges are just growing and growing. But what's unique about this part of my story, and it's not just the unique part, but also the sad part of my story, that it's not unique at all. These challenges pose significant barriers to all the newcomers aspiring to serve in leadership roles within their communities, whether they are smaller communities or at a larger level in a community. So, some of the good practices and ideas from the lived experience include this particular program, which is Women in Civic Engagement Program by Syrian Canadian Foundation, which was a pilot project in 2023, and it was funded by Human Concern International, and it hosted 30 refugee or newcomer women between the ages of 20 to 35 years old. And this program basically equip newcomer women with skills that are needed to survive in a political and civic engagement environment. So if women have a lot of advocacy and politics experience from their countries, how could they really leverage on that experience and also get involved here in Canadian politics as well as engage with the community here in Canada? So this, you can see how vast this particular group is. And the exciting part of this particular program was that women, we get to engage with a lot of service providers, NGOs, learn about the Canadian political system directly from the officials and ministers, and really speaking to them directly. So that gives you that social capital, which you could really talk about on LinkedIn, and really build on your profile as well. This also come up with an opportunity to visit the Parliament Hill in Ottawa, again engaging with a lot of different organizations such as Equal Voice, as well as FCM, and also visiting Senate of Canada and engaging with this political staff and learning about their lived experiences and how can we engage in politics just as them or follow their roadmap. A mock campaign of elections, which was directly judged by um, Asuma Malik, who is the deputy mayor of Toronto as well. So this particular project actually created a ripple effect in my personal life, where I took in this particular program, my social capital expanded, and that social capital gave me my very first job in Canada, which thankfully was not an odd job like my parents have to end up in an odd job, or um, um, a job which was not according to their skills or knowledge. So I ended up in a consultancy position. That was my first full-time paid opportunity in Canada. And that further led me to be a presenter at Metropolis, which is the largest, one of the largest conferences here in Canada about refugees and newcomers, and being able to be recognized as an advocate or humanitarian in Canada as well through various forums, and presenting at different events as well, such as the one today. So this ripple effects really is meaningful in a woman's life, because it will not create a change in the life of that woman, but also that family and the community to that particular woman belong to. The second program or thought which I could share with you is a global certificate program. It's a training program for inclusive higher education for refugees. This is particularly related to higher education and is offered by opening universities for refugees. It is open to different universities, NGOs, and civil society organizations. And the training actually covers topics like the past, present, and future of global forced migration. How could we creatively leverage on the refugee resettlement policies? And what are some of the complementary higher education pathways or other opportunities for pursuing higher education here in Canada? And what are some best ethical practices in engaging refugee integration? So this could be an online or on-site training program, and it is usually of 8 hours or 1 to 2 days. So the pilot was delivered in Mexico at two different universities, and is ongoing in different countries. So this pilot actually gave a lot of opportunity for different community members and civil society organization to really understand what the issue is about. And their reflections were really, really beautiful, where they came forward and saying, I have this plan and I want to do this now for the women in my community or people in my community I know of, or at least in my neighborhood. And I would also like to share about a very fun event, because usually when I go on different events, I can bring my sister with me, because she is also young women like me, enrolled in a university. But my mother often struggles to go on such events. So I was always looking for an event where women of different age groups could actually go and feel relaxed and not challenged with the preparation. So this was a painting workshop that was offered by BAM Collective. And it was a great opportunity of not just learning about each other culture, but to learn about Canadian culture and even Indigenous cultures as well. My mom, who is definitely senior in age, loved this particular workshop together with me and her daughters and a lot of other women. So that particular experience, where you don't have to go prepared, you are there just to feel that moment, really enjoy that moment, connect with people, really builds in a lot of confidence. And great thing was it was free of charge, so you don't have to buy any tickets. And I asked my mom after the event that, oh, did you like the event and what were your highlights? And she did say that she did not have to prepare anything. She was not worried about her language. She actually went and really tried art because she used to do art in her home country and she never did it for more than 20 years. So that was a very great experience. She definitely a nostalgic experience. And lastly, a program which I could share is our Empowering Women Through Technology. This is a digital literacy project and was specifically designed for women and girls at risk, especially fighting or uh, being involved in sexual and gender-based violence, and it was by refugee women, key to global compact on refugees. So I led this particular initiative together with different colleagues, where women of diverse age groups were involved, and they were taught about different technological skills, such as how to use Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, writing professional emails, replying to the emails, using Google Maps and even Google Translate, and getting involved in teams, working in a group, and also currently how to use ChatGPT and AI tools, because these AI tools, though could be very dangerous to use in academic environment, but often are very helpful in this way where we could really leverage on them and really make women self-sufficient in understanding and completing their own documents, doing their daily chores, and even going from one place to another place. So that self-sufficiency really is a thing that women needs at different levels of their life.